Hello there.
Hi, Lisa.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. I think I hit all the buttons I was supposed to hit.
Yeah, you have to be careful with technology around me. It's getting better, but it
At least it's improving.
is improving. Absolutely. Baby steps every day.
So we were just saying that we weren't really sure what we're going to talk about, but we're going to go through our cards and see where the conversation takes us.
Yes. Big surprise there. Us and
So,
our cards.
so what was your first card? I know as we were doing this, you had four of them fell out, and I said, "Okay, you're using those."
Yeah, so this is a deck that I have literally never picked up. And as I said to you, I'm not sure how it came to me, other than I believe it was someone who reached out to me because I had the violet butterfly. And this was like early on. So the name of this deck is Channeling JT Oracle Cards, Wisdom from the Other Side of Life. And it is by Serena and JT Baptista. And this is the front of the guidebook. It's got a dragonfly on it. Um, so like you said, as I was trying to shuffle the deck, four cards flew all over the floor. Three of them came out upright, one was upside down. And for those of you that don't know what that could possibly mean, is when something is upside down in an oracle deck or um, a tarot deck, it sometimes means the opposite of what the guidebook might tell you or what the card itself tells you. So the very first card, Lisa, was this one, and it's called Signs. And it's a beautiful, vibrant card with like leaves on it and dragonflies. And basically, this is the guidebook is saying that your loved ones are working hard to bring you signs to let you know they are safe and still very close to you. Telling me to be observant and allow them to bring signs, and not exactly how I expect or demand. And quite honestly, I'm taking this that I'm not seeing the signs that I'm being sent.
And then you proceeded to tell me about a little episode that happened last night, which could
Yes,
totally be the validation of that.
sure, sure. So, early morning and late evenings, I allow my two cats to go out on the back porch with the instructions of, if you're hunting, don't put any more holes in the screen and don't hurt yourself. But that doesn't stop them from hunting, even if something is outside of their range. So I went outside last night to get Daisy Grace to come in because it was time to go to bed. And she is got her radar locked on something outside. I look to see what she's, stalking, and it is this little owl. It couldn't have been more than, I don't know, maybe 8 inches tall, who's just sitting very quietly on my fence, staring at us.
I love that.
So, of course, once I saw it, it was like, oh, okay, she got the message, and it silently flew away.
Hmm.
Um, I'm
It's a
sure
beautiful sign
it
that
it is. So I had to look up the meaning of owl, and the first thing that came up was wisdom, which is it saying the owl's strong symbolism is associated with wisdom, mystery, intelligence, and protection. The owl totem provides intuition, knowledge, and clairvoyance. With its ability to unmask deception, the owl guides people to see that who need to see beyond the obvious. Let me say that again. With its ability to unmask deception, the owl guides people who need to see beyond the obvious. It invites you to see clearly in the dark. So I feel like I've really been traveling lately in the dark. Just so much going on in my personal life. I'm needing some night vision goggles from the owl.
So the owl's giving you a flashlight to just see what's going on.
Yeah, yeah,
So that
for
was
sure.
really nice. And that card was a great validation of that experience from the night before. And then it acknowledges that you got to be a little bit more aware of the signs that are around you.
Yeah. You know, when things get a little bit hairy in our personal lives, some of our spiritual practices go a little bit sideways. And like I'll just say I kind of have a tendency to shut down a little bit, um, which can have a negative impact on the way you're viewing things.
But yet I think it's a good positive as well because you shut down, you're resting. You need to rest, you need to rejuvenate. So your body's telling you something.
Yeah,
So, you know,
yeah,
it's that you know, we have the physical and the non-physical, so it's always a little delicate balance. So one may be a little bit hyper than the other. But at least you become aware, whether it's not yesterday or today, you know, you become aware and you adjust.
yep.
So as
So
long as we adjust.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. You know, we've talked about self-awareness.
Mhm.
That's one of the drums that I beat all the time is that self-awareness. And you know, you can't get upset with yourself for taking a while to recognize what's going on if it takes a while. Um, Sometimes you recognize what's going on and you don't know what to do about it. And that's where having a buddy to talk things through can really help.
Mhm.
Um, you know, so I would encourage anybody that's listening to this, if you're kind of going through a little bit of a time, it's okay whenever it is that you recognize that things are a little bit hairy. And if you need help, ask someone. Don't try to do everything on your own.
Right. And don't forget to ask those on the other side to help you. You know, you ask a physical person, you know, people that are in life, but our souls are also there to help us.
Yeah,
And I tell people that all the time. I said, you need to ask. They're not going to interfere. And
right.
and it's not as if you ask and they're going to bring you the little package in your hand. You're going to see opportunities in front of you that you might not have recognized before, or
Yeah,
little signs like you're talking about.
yeah,
And that can mean a lot.
yeah. If nothing else, it's like that little glimmer of hope
Hmm.
that, oh, yeah, they are listening to me. They are
Yeah.
listening and they're ready to help me. And here we go.
Hmm. So the first card I picked was from a fairy deck. It's fairy tarot cards. It's from Radley Valentine, illustrated by Howard David Johnson. So it's a little bit of an older deck that I have,
It's
and
one of your
it's the print.
favorite decks.
It is. I like fairies. It's Princess of Spring, optimistic, enthusiastic, creative, and energetic. So it speaks to the things that I like, obviously, but it's the message on it. It says it's time to go after your dreams. Do something that expands your horizons. Let your creativity take flight. And if I think about this card, I know that the world is a bit chaotic right now, but within the chaos, I see room for positive change. And with that, I say we all should just take the time to create and look for what you want for yourselves individually and for us all collectively. And it could be a feeling. It doesn't have to be that you're going to spell it out and say how it's going to get there because we don't really know how things will get there. But maybe it's a sense of freedom, a sense of respect, a sense of kindness, you know, just those feelings. If we stay there for like 5 minutes a day, it can really do a nice thing for that shift. And that's what this card reminds me of.
So that made me think of crafting. And I don't know why that made me think of
Mm.
crafting, but
Do you get happy when you craft?
oh, absolutely. Like
So there you
that is
go.
totally one of my happy places. So I think kind of one of the reasons why that bubbled up is to create or to manifest, right? you need to be able to be in that space where, and you've said this 100 times, if you said it once, in a place of neutral or better, right?
Hmm.
To be creating basically the life that we're dreaming of.
True. And if you need to, you fake it till you make it. You need to.
So
If you're having a shitty day, you know, take some breaths, honor yourself, give yourself some love, and then just, I'm going to be joyful. You know, do something to raise your vibration a little bit. Eat an ice
yeah.
cream.
That sounds yummy. Or just have a conversation with a friend that's halfway around the
Yeah.
world at the
And then
moment,
eat an ice cream.
and then eat an ice cream. Because she's at the end of her day while we're kind of at the beginning of our day. Ooh,
Yeah.
that means I can have ice cream for lunch.
Listen, I've had it for breakfast.
I remember some of those stories.
Mhm. So
All
what's your
right.
second?
My second card is Love Never Dies.
Oh, how pretty.
Isn't that just great?
Yeah.
So I feel like this is a message about getting out in nature as much as the fact that our loved ones don't die, right?
Mhm.
Our loved ones are with us. But like for me, going through the time that I'm going through right now, being outside in nature, going to the beach, those are so those activities are so important to help me stay balanced. And I'll tell you, I went to the beach the other day with a friend, and typically we go to the beach and we sit in our chairs or we like hang out in the water. And the other day I decided to sit in the sand, and
Okay.
I, I am not that girl. I don't like to have sand all over me. It felt so good to sit
Hmm.
in the sand. Like, follow your instincts, follow your intuition, because that might make all the difference in the world. If you think about it, a lot of times we get really unbalanced, and the earth can help us regain our balance. And in the case of me going to the beach, right, I could sit in my chair with my feet on the ground,
Right.
or I can sit on the sand, like bottom on the sand, legs covered in sand.
Well, I think that's a great point. Also, where we live in Florida, I think it's one of the few places in the world that the sand doesn't get hot. So you can physically sit in the sand and not burn yourself. Whereas if you were in New Jersey in the beach, you couldn't do that.
Seriously? Have
Seriously.
you have never felt the hot sand in Florida?
Not
Really?
really. No. No, it's hot. I thought in Clearwater
Yeah.
area, it doesn't burn your feet.
It can. It can be very hot. You
New
must
Jersey.
be select in the times that you go.
Okay.
But even still, like that warmth that comes from the sand, right? It's enough to help even like physically open the muscles and everything in your body. There's no downside except for the sand that may not feel super comfortable on your skin, right? I
Right.
mean, there's a lot of healing that can come from literally sitting in that sand, warmth and all. So
Hmm. Good grounding.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So my second card, first one was a princess. Now we got a king of autumn, and he's compassionate, accomplished, charismatic, and gifted. And the message they have is be assertive when it comes to what you know is right. Everything is going your way, a good person or company to work for. So they kind of have a bunch of different little sayings, and you got to see what pulls to you. And I'm drawn to everything is going your way. And the reason that feels right to me is sometimes, even when things don't appear to be going your way, they are behind the scenes.
Mhm.
So You have to have the faith that things happen for a reason and that they're unfolding the way that they will, for your highest good. If you maintain that positive, creative vibration, that will work for you. So, um, what does Esther say? Esther says, everything's always working out for me.
Mm.
As we quote Esther Hicks. I love her.
Yeah, yeah. So that made me think of this project that I did yesterday. And you're going to laugh at me because, I get into all kinds of stuff. So ever since COVID, the water and the ice from my refrigerator has not really worked super well. And here in Pinellas County, our water is so hard. There's so much like mineral deposits and stuff. And I don't have like a whole house conditioner or anything like that. So over the last several years, I've got like mineral deposits in everything. Well, what that's done is it made it so that the water didn't have enough pressure to come through the refrigerator the way it was supposed to with a filter in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have just hemmed and hawed and like, how do I fix this? And, because I bought dozens of different kinds of filters for the fridge. So I had this epiphany and I was like, okay, so my refrigerator has this blue bypass plug that you can put in instead of the filter. And I bought an inline water filter to go in the water line from the wall. So the line goes from the wall to the filter, and then another line from the filter to the fridge. So I'm able to bypass what the problem is, and now the water and the ice and everything is working fine. But you know, household projects can always be a little dicey.
So it's like, did it bring up another issue, or was it just like,
So it's one of those things where, okay, I've pulled the refrigerator out, I've cleaned behind it because you can't pull out an appliance without cleaning behind it. Well, I felt like the universe was laughing at me about my cleaning job because I had to remove one of the lines, and next thing you know, there's water spraying
oh
all
gosh,
over the place. No, it was funny because I literally laughed and I was like, the universe is telling me that this isn't clean enough. And I mean, I could have been really upset, but I was really looking at it from an optimistic point of view that like this clean water literally just came out of the filter. And it wasn't a ton, but it was just, enough that I was like, okay, well now this is really clean because I had used cleaner and blah blah blah. No, now it was just water that had to be wiped up. So
wow.
I don't know. It's just like that kind of came to mind, and it's like, oh, okay, well, the universe has like all these different things in mind for us, and okay, all right. So it wasn't the way I envisioned it, but it was okay. That's the way the universe wanted that project to go.
Yeah, or even if you're delayed, look at what happened. Not totally, probably off topic, but look at what happened with the Microsoft had that huge software glitch, and it was like airports all over the place and hospitals, and it was like all over the world. They had to stop. They
Yep.
had to just shut down,
Mhm.
and I'm sure that put a cramp in so many people's plans.
Oh my
But
goodness.
you don't know what the real reason is why that slowed down. Maybe you're now someplace else that you didn't expect to be. Like I know people who were traveling on a big trip, they ended up getting a 2-day delay somewhere else. You meet people that you didn't expect to meet. So there's all kinds of synchronicities going on behind the scenes that you have no clue as to
Absolutely.
what it is that is the divine timing of. You just kind of have to stay present. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't be a Karen. It just has to it has to play out.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's super interesting the things that happen. Hmm.
I mean, our world right now is one thing after another. that stops, gives you an idea that something's not working the way it should be. There's change in the mix, but we don't really know exactly how it's going to turn out. That could be from any of our systems to politics, etc. You know,
Yep.
so our lives are just like a little mirror image of the collective as
Uh,
that's working out.
Yep, for sure.
So let's see if our next card can help with that analogy. And I didn't look at them yet. As a bird out my window, that's what I'm looking at. I got distracted. Squirrel. It's like
Right? Shiny object. Hmm. So super interesting. The next card that I came up with is self.
okay. I like that picture.
Isn't that nice?
Hmm.
Um, so this to me feels like your relationship with yourself. How do you see yourself?
And all healing starts with yourself.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. There's been a lot of that going on lately.
Self-reflection that
Mm-hmm.
we were talking about earlier, and trying to make little shifts, little changes in ourselves.
Yeah.
That's good.
So let me read this real quick.
Okay.
This just jumped out of the guidebook at me. See yourself as we see you. A bright light I can't talk. A bright light full of possibilities, love, abundance, peace, serenity, and hope.
The big one, that what you just said, is hope. We must always have hope. And a lot of times it's hard when you're surrounded by things you don't like to see, to
Mm-hmm.
maintain that hope.
Yep.
But so that's what, when you said that, that's jumped through my heart.
Yep. Well, and we talked about hope already,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So my last card kind of is similar, only it takes it to the family. It's the Six of Summer card, and it's two little children, fairies talking to each other. And it says, children or childhood, the return of people or romances from the past, remembering events differently in a better or worse light than how they really occurred. So your card was about self.
Mm-hmm.
And this card is kind of like the collective of self, looking at yourself with your childhood, with your family, remembering things. Maybe if I was to try and intuitively pick from it, it would be learn from your past and then take the positives from that and move forward. Don't stay there. You know me, I don't like the shadow to stay, but it's like you're going to look at it, you're going to remember the love, appreciate some things, and then take that part with you. The part you don't want to remember, the part that maybe was painful, you can leave that. I always say I have a little bonfire, I throw it in the fire and let it go. So take the good and move forward with it. I don't know if that's everybody's interpretation, but that's the one I'm going to stick with.
That's your story,
It's
right?
my story, yes.
So there were 4 cards that came out of my deck,
Mhm.
and I'm going to build on the story. So mine was self, yours was family and collective, and then this one is trees
Oh,
with
yes.
like a sunrise. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with, that whole connectiveness. And the fact again that there's hope. There's
Yeah.
hope every day that the sun is gonna rise,
Hmm.
and we have another opportunity to do what we're trying to do.
Exactly. And stay grounded like the tree
Yep.
as things go around you that, you have to move through
Yep.
so that you can be the observer, like you say, not the absorber.
Yep.
Very good. Love these cards.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting that I have literally never looked at this deck before, and it was yelling at me from the other side of the room. like take me out and look at me. And I didn't even get a chance to really like shuffle the deck.
So just for shits and giggles, what crystal is calling you? Because you know you love crystals, and I know you have some, but you don't have to. What just out of the clear blue, what crystal calls you today?
First thing that
First
popped
thing
in
that comes to your mind.
is shungite.
Okay.
Yep.
And what does the shungite mean?
It's all about protection.
Okay.
So protection, yes. Okay. So they're reminding me that it also has to do with um connection
Mm-hmm.
and connection to, like spirit guides and preparing yourself for, they're coming up with new words for me. Hold on. Um so let me tell you a really quick story. I know I'm in the middle of a sentence here,
That's
but
okay.
it seems to be, you and I have talked about channeling a
Mm-hmm.
number of times. And I was telling you how I thought it was super interesting that I have been, over the years, I've channeled a lot, whether I've realized it or not. So looking back, when I was teaching yoga, I was channeling. Um, our mutual friend Barb has been like so amazing with her rapid fire questions. And what I realized looking back is that those sessions were all channeled. All these, literally for hours, she would ask me random questions. And there was a very well known practitioner who just came out with a course, and it was all about like channeling. And I told you that I was like interested in it, but also like I knew I wasn't supposed to do it. I was just listening to a book um, on the Hay House audio app, and it's again on channeling. And it was talking about like different exercises. This person is like super big on, um, it's Sarah Landon is the author of this audiobook. And she has classes on channeling, but she talks about like automatic writing and all these different ways of channeling. And wow, I am like so off topic. You guys are making me nuts. I swear, I feel like I'm being
Welcome
yelled
to
at
my
right
world.
now. But I think that this is something else that's going on with me, is I'm really off balance, and part of it is getting me outside my structure so that I'm listening. I'm really, again, I'm not good with the subtle hints of the universe. I've told you that before. They have this tendency to come after me, with a little bit like, because I don't listen, they need to get my attention, and this is one of those
Yeah.
times. So I am working on my channeling skills, and sometimes I do better than others. Sorry, I just vomited all of
You
that.
just feel like you're doing great. So you just need to know that you have to look at yourself like they are looking at you. I think I think part of it is that you're hard on yourself because maybe you're comparing to what another channel may be, and you have to realize that everybody channels a little bit differently. Just like someone may sing the same song, but they'll sing it a little different than the next person. It's all about the vibration and that connection. And I was listening to another practitioner, but for the life of me, I forget who it was. But I think it's a very similar uh, message that's been shared in the cosmos right now. And that, oh, I think it was Lee Harris who I was listening to, that they also teach channeling. You know,
Yep.
it's becoming very popular. And I think you can't have too many people who channel, because what happens when you channel, you're connecting to your higher self, you're connecting to your spirit guide, you're raising your vibration to make that connection, and you're allowing balance to come through.
Mhm.
So the more we have, the better. To be intuitive and have a connection is what's truly natural to all of us. So, however it looks for you, however it's working out for you, don't be hard on yourself. just go with it. The fact that you maybe don't recognize them right away, it's part of your journey that you're doing specifically to you. That's okay. You just acknowledge it. You can laugh about it, but then try the next time to notice them a little sooner. That's all. Just be a little more gentle with yourself. You'd be gentler with your kitties.
Absolutely.
Hmm. My cat. Of course, my daughter's watching my cat while I'm away, but she's very fun. You know, Rosie. You've taken care of
Yep.
Rosie before. She's got her own. They all have their own little unique personalities.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's really interesting. I came across a picture that I took of Rosie with a bunch of cards
Mhm.
on the couch on your back porch. Literally just came across that the other day. I was like, oh, I forgot I even had that.
Yeah. So so she's meowing at my daughter and her family right now. So she's also very talkative.
Okay. All right. So we have completely gotten off topic.
But
Let's
did we?
see.
But did we? We did, but we didn't. It's all about balance,
It,
noticing the signs. You started out talking about noticing the signs, right?
yes. Yes. And we got to here. So, and I, so I have some shelves that are like on the wall just behind my computer. And um, I have some ancestors up there, picture of some ancestors and some crystals, of course, because there's crystals like everywhere in this room. But there's also a sign, literally a sign that keeps on catching my attention, and it says, make your dreams happen.
Yes.
So that's a sign that maybe I need to actually get in gear with the things that I really want to do, that I dream about
Yes.
doing.
I mean, you've been knowing I've been doing those insights every week, but one that truly sticks out to me was the achieve, believe, receive. And it was creating from the perspective of spirit. And towards the end of that insight, we, in our human perspective, think at times that a miracle is something that manifests that we didn't think was possible. But yet, from spirit's perspective, it's just everything is possible. So when you want to dream, don't limit yourself, just really go for it. And that's been a struggle for me all my life. So I'm speaking to it from the play of the student,
Mm-hmm.
still continually to do it for myself. But just go for it. Everything is possible. You have to always have that hope, and you don't have to know how it's going to happen. Just let it go. So what is it you want? Think about that feeling of what it is that you want. Well-being, happiness, a big party, ice cream.
Ice cream.
So think about that. If you want, those that are listening, drop us a line with what it is that you're creating. What is it that you want? We just had a full moon, and perfect timing.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you all for listening.